What you are listening to now is the Central Indiana Sports Report, podcast number 347.4. Will Retherford, Mike Hutsell, and Sam Frick's reaction to the Colts' 24-16 loss to the Ravens in Baltimore in the first preseason game on Thursday night. Most of the focus, of course, wasn't on the final score. It was on another Anthony Richardson injury and whether he has what it takes to be a franchise quarterback. Of course, we will be reacting to every Colts game this year. Once the regular season gets here, we will also have previews, and once a week we have our Colts report, right now with Will Retherford, until we find the right person to take that on permanently. Please enjoy.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengelt.
Welcome, Colts fans, to the Central Indiana Sports Report and our reaction to the Colts' 24-16 loss in Baltimore in Week 1 of the preseason. Of course, nobody cares about the final result, even though I bellyached a little about the lack of creativity on the final drive. Doesn't really matter at all. But we are here to talk about what we liked, what we didn't like. A couple of promising pieces to this, but some other concerns. And we're going to start with our fill-in Colts guy for now, Will Retherford. And Will, what did you like and what did you dislike from tonight?
Well, I disliked the fact that we threw a starting quarterback on the field without starting tackles. And that really should be the moral of tonight. It's just, well, the Colts, once again, just absolute abysmal management. Whoever made that decision needs fired. That was a terrible decision, and hopefully it doesn't come back to bite him in the ass, because I think you saw tonight what Daniel Jones is capable of. Warren and A.D. Mitchell looked good. Outside of that, there wasn't a whole lot of promise.
So there's a lot of youthful optimism there to call Anthony Richardson a starting NFL quarterback. I didn't know you had that in you, Will.
I'm still absolutely a believer, and I think the fact that he was out there without his right or left tackle starting, you never throw a starting quarterback in a preseason game without the starting line. It just doesn't happen. There's not a franchise in the league, 32 franchises, none of them would do that, and the Colts chose to do it tonight, and that broke his pinky. I mean,
he's not just a starting quarterback right now. I think he is. You think he is, but
I'm not even entertaining the Daniel Jones conversation. You saw tonight he was abysmal. He's not starting. If Daniel Jones starts on this team, there's not even a point of turning the game on Sundays.
I think Anthony Richardson is the smartest man any of us know, because there's no evidence of him being good, but there's all this evidence of him having the potential to be good, so he just doesn't play. So now we can sit here and say, he's only 22 years old. He may be great. At some point, he wasn't great at Florida. He wasn't great as a rookie before he got hurt. He wasn't great last year. He showed you a few things. He threw some balls. I mean, hey, if you need somebody to throw the ball 70 yards from his knees into a bucket at the goal line, he'd probably be my number one draft pick. But there's absolutely no evidence whatsoever that is a starting NFL quarterback. And here we are.
All right, guys, let's bring in Sam the Man Frick from the ANEC Network in Fort Wayne, a Colts fan, to give his opinion. And Sam, what's your opinion of Will's and Mike's opinions?
Well, I'm going to be quite honest with you. The evidence is right there, and I'm someone that's been someone that always looks for evidence when it comes to statistics, and when what my eyes pretty much tell me the exact same thing. Anthony Richardson has not proven to be a starting NFL quarterback. I have not seen that since he was drafted. And up to this point, the questions are still out there. The narrative still exists. Daniel Jones was out there. Yeah, he threw for 144 yards. It's a preseason game. Whoop-de-doo. Daniel Jones is not a proven NFL starting quarterback. He is prone for mistakes and thrown for turnovers. Whoop-de-doo. Now, I will say this. There is some positives we can take away from tonight. I thought Tyler Warren, especially early on in the game, I liked what he brought in. You know, young player coming in, rookie on this Indianapolis Colts team. He had a little bit of Adonai Mitchell. Ashton Doolin had some nice catches for the Colts, especially in the first half. You know, there were opportunities, even in a preseason game, which, whatever. But the Colts did have opportunities in this game, despite the lack of production, if you would, from the quarterback and the play calling. Special teams need some work, obviously. That's a problem. Tackling, looks like tackling from a high school team was not good at all, especially in the first half. Thankfully, the defense did step up a little bit. I like the way our secondary has looked so far, but again, it is against Baltimore's backup quarterbacks. So I'm not going to sit here and celebrate that so far, but there is some things we can take away as good moments for the Colts, particularly in the pass defense and with our wide receivers. But I do have a lot of concerns with quarterback. And until that gets resolved, I think we're in for a long season ahead.
I'm just going to figure at this point, and I'm with Will. He's 22 years old. There are the things that you look at with the promise, but as I said to Mike Hutsell earlier tonight, that it reminded me of Jeff George, and not that they're the same type of player, but you always just saw Jeff George, and I think, was it 9 franchises took a chance on him because you always saw it was there. It was possible, and it just never quite happened, and that might be where we are. And Mike Hutsell had a different analogy.
I'm a Southern Indiana guy. I've lived here almost my whole life. One of the biggest events that's ever happened in Southern Indiana was the town of New Albany was getting a Dunkin' Donuts. For 4 years, all we heard about was this damn Dunkin' Donuts. And it was always opening in 6 months. 6 months from now, we're going to have a Dunkin' Donuts. By the time that stupid Dunkin' Donuts opened, it could not possibly have lived up to the hype. You couldn't get a parking spot for that stupid thing when it finally opened. And when it opened, guess what? It's a Dunkin' Donuts. It sucked. I don't even think the stupid thing's still there. This is Anthony Richardson. We've heard since he was at Florida, he's the greatest thing that's ever, his tools, you don't understand. This guy is amazing. Well, we keep waiting. We're 6 months away. Now he's hurt. What's a broken pinky? 6 weeks maybe? If that's what it ends up being. So you're into the regular season at that point. It's got to happen at some time. I know he's only 22. We're going to keep saying that. He can be only 29 playing for the Raiders as a third-string quarterback in 7 years, and we're still going to hear about this guy's intangibles. At some point, you have the smartest thing, like I said, he's the smartest person in the world because he never plays to show that he isn't good. We know Daniel Jones sucks. Why? Because the poor guy's been out there playing for 5-6 years, and we've seen it live. The guy's career highlight is a 75-yard touchdown that didn't happen because he tripped on the 41-yard line. The difference between these two quarterbacks is we've seen one suck. We just haven't seen the other one suck enough. So we get tantalized by a training camp video that the team puts out of him throwing a dot to Adonai Mitchell from 44 yards out. But
by the way, has looked fantastic.
By the way, we probably didn't see 14 other passes that hit Shane Steichen and knocked his stupid visor off on the sideline. We don't see that evidence. You guys' optimism, I understand you're fans. I'm not. So I don't have the same outlook as a lot of people. I'm not a Colts fan. So I just look at it from an NFL observer perspective, and I don't see it. I hope it works out for you. But the team right now, to me, looks like last year's Purdue team graduated and drove down 65. And they're playing more for Arch Manning than they are for an AFC South title.
Sorry, don't mean to laugh.
Thanks for reminding me.
Can we point out the positives, Mike? Is that all right?
You guys can talk about positives all you want. I mean, my positive tonight is a white running back for the Eagles beat the Bengals starters. So, way to go. Let's repeat.
Mike, of course, is an Eagles fan, and he is on cloud nine. But the Colts have been in his life since the very day that they moved to Indianapolis. So he is maybe not a Colts fan, but very invested in the Colts, and, of course, have covered them. And some positives. Mitchell looked great. Warren looked great. The defensive backfield, Sam brought that up. I thought not only did it look great, but it has depth to it too, which last year was a weakness.
I thought there was some good energy in that defense, especially in the second half. You definitely saw momentum shifting in that third quarter, and they had opportunities because of the defense stepping up and really just shortening the field, if you would. So I think, like I said, I know there's a lot of concerns with the Colts on the offensive side per se, but I thought the defense at least looked at least from the secondary side, looked a tad better. How it translates to the regular season remains to be seen.
And then I'll just go ahead and point out a negative. You brought up the defense. The first, whatever it was like 10 yards a carry. The linebackers aren't good enough. This was not even the first team Ravens. And 4 guys we never heard of were getting 5, 6, 7 yards a carry. And I have a feeling this might be the worst rush defense in the NFL.
I mean,
how many times have we heard that?
Can we be reminded of who the hell played today? We're sitting here getting critical of them. I mean, it is August 7th. Zaire Franklin and then whoever. But they didn't play tonight. I mean, and respectfully, Keaton Mitchell was a dog before his ACL injury 2 years ago. So, I mean, we're talking about a guy that performed at the I'm not putting that much stock into it. You watched a bunch of guys play this evening that will be professional trainers working at football camps come, a month from now. It's just, Richardson was unfortunate. Like, it was just, like, of course. And I said it on the podcast at the golf course. I mean, you cannot send your starting quarterback out there without your starting offensive line, and then you have a right tackle just completely not block the edge.
Mike, anything you saw that was impressive?
Impressive?
That matters.
That matters. I mean, and I do agree with Will. It is August 7th, so I don't overreact to anything that I see. I question teams more that play their starters at this point than I do teams that don't. I think you could use these games to build your depth and learn a lot more about the guys you might need on your practice squad. So I don't want to overreact, but I am overreacting to Anthony Richardson because I just keep seeing more evidence that this isn't a guy, and I keep being told he's only 20-something years old. So I just keep going back to that. I think it's a problem. I think it's going to remain a problem. You're going to have to make a decision on his 5th-year option, I think, this year. You can actually start to think about extending him if you think he's the future. I don't think that we're there. And I'll ask everybody on this panel, do you see this team, as it's currently constructed, as more of a AFC South contender or a team that's going to be in the market for a quarterback with a top 10, armed with a top 10 pick and a new GM next year? If you had to make a prediction right now and put money on it, on a wager, one of those 2 outcomes, which do you lean towards?
5-12.
6 wins.
They're too good to be a top 10 pick. They'll win 8 games because of just their roster. Like it, you say quarterback, really outside of quarterback, they're not bad.
All right, Will, am I overreacting to Zaire Franklin and whoever else?
They've won. They were fighting for a playoff spot with him as your linebacker 2 years ago, and they almost were a bad loss in New York away from
whoever else wasn't.
EJ Speed was awful too. I mean, I'm just saying, like, and you didn't have Buck, you didn't have Stewart playing, like who are run stuffing defensive linemen. I mean, you're talking about your
run stuffer. He's decent at run stopping.
You're talking your 1 tech and 2 tech, or your nose guy, whoever lines up wherever.
Lewis is not elite run stuffer either.
I'm just saying, it just makes a whole world of difference when you have 2 of those players.
The Vegas over under 7.5. I hear 1 over and 2 unders. Am I understanding that correctly?
They'll be over. They will win more.
For them winning 8 games, 9 games, 10 games, but it would take a lot of things. For one, finding a linebacker, another finding a quarterback, whether it's Anthony Richardson or not. But that's not all. I mean, that's not the only issue. Is no pass rush that we've seen. Although tonight against Baltimore's second, third teams, the pass rush looked pretty good. Too many holes.
Oddly enough, it's almost like the Colts have become what we used to hate about the Pacers. They were just bad enough.
That's right.
To not really be a contender, but they're just good enough to not really get an impact player out of the draft. And now, if they win 8 games again this year, how many years in a row has it been? We're right there on the verge of the playoffs. We can do that. We can be that. We win this game. We go into week 18 against the Texans and throw with Gardner Minshew at quarterback and try to hit our third string running back in the flat that cost us a playoff berth. I mean, are they now the Pacers? from that aspect. I mean, are they just not ever going to be bad enough to get the player that they need? So now you're going to go into next year with Kirk Cousins as your quarterback?
Yeah, it's probably not as big a deal in the NFL as it is the NBA, but you're right, it is bad. And it's funny that the Colts have never really been in that position the entire franchise existence because they were so bad for so long, Mike, as you remember. I don't think Sam and Will are old enough to remember the
No.
pre-Peyton Manning days. And then since then, they were
begging fans to come to a Monday night game so that you could actually show the game locally.
That's right.
That's how bad it was there for a while.
I do want to point one thing here with the Colts. Since 2019, they have won at least 7 games in all but 2 seasons. So they have been the epitome of murky mediocre at this point. To that murky area where you're good enough to not be a lottery, to not have a high pick, but you're never ever good enough to really be a contender. You're just stuck in the middle. That's never a good place to be in.
And Mike, at least in 1983, 84, 85, 86, when they were horrible, there was always, there's Vinny Testaverde out there. And so there was some hope, and with this, it's, I wouldn't say hopeless. And in the NFL, things can turn so fast, especially when you got a guy like Anthony Richardson who could. I know Mike doesn't like to hear that, but he could. Mike said he's never seen it. Well, we've seen it. His rookie year, there were definitely longer flashes than just a quarter or two.
He played 4 games that year, did he not?
And he looked awfully damn good in those 4 games. I mean, I know you probably may have been watching the game with one eye on the TV, but like in that Rams game, they were down 23-0 in the third quarter, and he basically willed them back to victory.
He was running. Himself. And now every time he runs, he gets hurt.
But, I mean, that same season or the next season, Gardner Minshew looked good for 4 games. I'm not ready to give him a bust in Canton. I mean, a guy can look good over 4 games. It's
Gardner
being able to show it.
That Anthony Richardson has.
To put it out on tape and show it for 2 years in a row or over a course of an entire season. Richardson's done. He looked okay, great. I'm so happy for you guys that he balled out against the Rams in week 3 2 years ago.
Playoff team, by the way.
Rams, by the way.
Fantastic. You know what? Congratulations. Put that right up next to the AFC finalist banner that Andrew Luck earned when he was the quarterback. Beat the Rams the year after the Super Bowl.
Oh, they didn't actually win that game because
the
defense the ball back in overtime.
I love it even more now.
I mean,
Anthony Richardson's Canton game is a game they didn't win against a team that was good the year before.
Well, Nakua, I believe that was his
it was his breakout
emergence of being Puka Nakua. So
it was his breakout game. In fact, he beat him in overtime. Sam, what are you? You're old enough to remember the Peyton Manning era, well, right?
Correct, absolutely.
I thought so. We've been spoiled in Central Indiana with quarterbacks, and
way too spoiled.
What's that? You'd like to continue to be spoiled. I'd like to be spoiled like the Packers.
Well, I mean, you guys could get really, really excited next year about the Aiden O'Connell era because it's coming.
Yay!
Yeah, it is.
It's okay to acknowledge that, yes, up to this point, he's still the 3rd youngest quarterback in the league. Still developing. Like, if he can figure it out, and it may not even be with the Colts.
There's reason for some hope.
It may not even be with the Colts. Like, he could suck, a team takes a chance on him, and he goes and builds a good career somewhere else that we've seen other top-pick quarterbacks do in the last 5 years. I mean, I can think of 3 or 4 examples off the top of my head that I look at. I mean, Geno was a little longer than that, but you saw his emergence. You saw Baker Mayfield. You saw Jared Goff resurge his career. You saw Sam Darnold change his career. I mean, there's obvious examples.
Anthony Richardson will be great when he's no longer a Colt.
I think that's precisely because I think that tonight exemplifies why this is really a poverty franchise for the most part. Poor decision-making and continuously accepting mediocrity as hope for the future.
I hope for Anthony Richardson's sake that Chris Ballard gets another GM job, because there's nothing that guy likes more than taking quarterbacks who aren't that good and giving them 1 year to earn a starting spot. He can go be the Matt Ryan of who could he possibly the Jet? He'll
I don't
replace
think you can
Justin
find many
Fields.
Colts fans who will defend Ballard right now.
He will replace Justin Fields with the Jets next year. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what his next career arc is going to be, but it's going to be probably as whatever fill-in stopgap Chris Ballard needs at his next GM job.
So, Sam, does it make you more interested in college football this year?
You better believe it.
I mean, I think it's one of those where, and Sam and Mike can probably agree with me, if they've looked at the schedule, I mean, they've got a tough schedule. Like, there is a scenario where just their schedule is tough enough that they don't. I mean, we know they're losing one game when they go to Jacksonville. Jacksonville could go 1-16, and they're going to beat the Colts by 40 in Duval County would be my guess.
They do start every year 0-1 because they have the Jacksonville game on the schedule.
This year it's Miami, so
if they lose to the Dolphins at home, it's going to get real loud real quick.
Well, we're still like 4 weeks away from that. So
Halloween weekend, baby. I am in the Steel City. I'm going to see the hopefully Mason Rudolph, Daniel Jones. Even though the game's not played in England, they should probably play it at 8:30 in the morning anyway, so nobody can actually see it happen.
Man, I just need some hope at this point.
Yeah. It's pretty rough for Colts fans right now, especially with the Pacers being so good and the Fever being so good. And the Boilermakers going to win the national championship this year in men's basketball.
Oh, no, jinx it, Greg.
I just think it's hilarious that you guys even entertain that as a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, I there's a bigger chance that the Colts win the Super Bowl than Purdue winning the national championship next year.
Thanks for jinxing.
You know, I mean, if you like historical evidence, I have plenty that show that's probably not going to happen. But, hey.
The 4-13 Jacksonville Jaguars last year, they beat the AFC representative Chiefs 26-13 week 1 of the preseason. So, this shit doesn't matter.
The score didn't matter. It's not the score. It was the fact that they can't stop a run. And again, I understand it's second thing, but that was a problem last year as well. They don't have a quarterback. There's a lot of issues.
And it's the thing that did matter was the ongoing trend of the guy that you want more than anything in the world to be the guy had something else happen that showed that he's probably not the guy.
Yeah.
I just don't. How is that his fault? Like how?
I'm not saying it's his fault. Chip Kelly, for all of his faults, Chip Kelly said the best ability in the world is availability. Well, guess what? He's not. He's hurt again. He's not available.
If it was just a dislocation, not broken. Okay, one, he wasn't coming back into that game anyway, even if it dislocated. Fair. I mean, so it's week 1 of the preseason. If they pop that thing back in week 4 or 5 of the NFL season, he says I'm good to go. He's probably going back in the game. Just it's week 1 preseason. I mean, he's not going back in.
He's given evidence in other aspects of his career that show he'd be like, you know what, I'm probably good. I need a breather anyway, so maybe you can just leave the thing popped out till next week.
And Sam, we did see some good things from him right before he got hurt, right?
Yeah, I mean, he did show some good things. Just the problem was he didn't play much.
Yeah.
So the narrative's still out there.
Spencer Schrader is going to be a good kicker.
Oh yeah, he was great.
I just keep looking for the guy that almost beat the Rams, the defending champion Rams, in week 4 2 years ago. I mean, if we could just get that guy back, we'd be talking 13-4 instead of 4-13. I mean,
that Anthony Richardson would probably bring you a 13-4 season. He was awfully damn good that game.
Did I ever tell you about the time I went to the casino and had a really, really awesome blackjack hand that almost beat the dealer but didn't?
Oh man, that was so much fun. I got to work with Mike Hutsell every day for a couple of years at the newspaper, and it was a lot of fun. if you don't mind your teams being made fun of, or you being made fun of. He was so much fun to be around all the time. Always appreciate him coming on. Sam, it's his second time joining the podcast. Enjoyed that. Hopefully we will hear more from him. And of course, Will is filling in as our Colts guy for now. If you're interested in being our Colts guy, or just being a contributor from time to time, please text me at 502-533-3161. Whatever you do not call me, please. Text. I'm in school now, and I am in the middle of a lot of things. I don't answer my phone. Text if you're interested. Appreciate it. Thank you so much for listening. Please do us a huge favor and share this with the Colts fan in your life, and let them know that the Central Indiana Sports Report is here talking about Central Indiana sports every single day. Appreciate it. Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media, and I love Susie.